Miscellaneous minds, never explaining the minds. Devilish grin for my alias, aliens who respond. Peddling sin, thinking maybe when you get old you realize I'm not gonna fold or demise. I don't smoke crack, motherfucker, I sell it.
What is going on, everybody? This is the Miscellaneous Minds Podcast. I'm your co-host, Puma Gato, the cat that gives you your new champions back. And to my left over here is the main man, Jesus Dinero, the man that makes the fat stacks. Together we form the dynamic duo that won't die. Down the ideas, brother, and spicier content than your girl's only fans.
What is going on, everybody? Before we get into tonight's topic, please make sure to like, comment, hate, subscribe, DM us about the bullshit, and with that, let's get right into it. So, if you guys watched Noche UFC, it was a decent card. My man and I both got 2 of our predictions correct. So we wanted to go through those. So let's go ahead and start off. Brian Ortega versus Diego Lopes. We both actually picked Diego Lopes to win. If you guys go back and watch our previous video, you'll notice that we just felt Diego Lopes was just too crisp. He was just too on the game, too on his on all the right things he needed to be before his matchup against Brian Ortega. And we had both said, listen, Brian Ortega, yes, he won his last match, but he just hasn't been looking as good as of late. And that prediction proved to be on the money, man. Don't get me wrong, Brian Ortega had a moment, maybe 2, in the match where he did some damage. Other than that, it was all Diego Lopes. Diego Lopes, again, came in looking very crisp. There was a specific combination where he landed a 1-2 straight over the top, and then I believe it was a hook to the face, which shook Brian Ortega quite a bit. And to be honest with you, from there, I believe it was just all downhill. Again, we both predicted Diego Lopes win the exact same way that it happened. We believe that he was just going to be too good in there, a little bit too above Brian Ortega. We both wanted Brian Ortega to win. We said that in the previous review that we did, but we were both very honest that we thought Diego Lopes was just looking just too good in his previous matches and coming into this one. So we got that one right. We both got that one right. But what do you think about that, my man?
I think it definitely did showcase that Diego Lopes does have what it takes to be a future champion. He looked absolutely phenomenal here. He was the constant aggressor. He was, he was basically the dominant one the entire match. It looks like Brian Ortega was constantly on the back foot through the majority of the fight, and both on the feet and on the ground, Diego Lopes just looked too hot. He looked too dominant. It was unfortunate because, again, Brian Ortega is a nice dude. We love Brian Ortega, but at the same time, Diego Lopes really does have the sauce and really does have the makings of a future champion. He looked way too good out there tonight.
Yeah, man. I think the work that he was doing, I think the combinations he was putting together, I think he was just too quick for Brian Ortega. He was just too on the money, too accurate. He did everything he needed to do. I think it was the perfect fight for Diego Lopes. And look, man, I'll be honest with you. I'm slowly becoming more and more of a fan of his. I think he's a very, very humble guy, very nice guy. I like his body of work. Only reason I'm not a bigger fan of him now is just because I don't feel like I've seen enough of him to just fully dip my foot in the Diego Lopes pool as a fan. But listen, I'm not in any way, shape, or form a hater. I think he's doing great work, and I definitely look forward to more matches from him. Next, let's talk about Alexa Grasso versus Valentina Shevchenko. Listen, we both made our predictions. I thought that Alexa Grasso would bring enough to overcome the doubters, the haters in this match. My man here picked Valentina Shevchenko to win, and man, was he right. Listen, after the very first round, and I made a mention to my man here during the break between the first and second round, Alexa Grasso just seemed like she was pouting. She seemed unwilling to really engage Shevchenko. I told my man here, look, it looks like she's giving up. It looks like she's accepting that she's just not going to win. And I feel like you really saw that after every round. I feel like she just accepted defeat. Don't get me wrong. There was a couple moments where she obviously came close to, locking in a submission, or she was trying, but here's the thing. She was trying always from a defensive position. I believe that, yes, maybe they did practice being on her, her being on her back and practicing different defensive maneuvers, which is great. But if that's your mentality going in, I'm going to practice from a defensive standpoint, you're already saying I'm going to yield everything to her with the exception of this defensive stance. So I'm not going to lie to you. I do feel like she went in with the defeated mindset to begin with. I feel like her refusing after every round, because she was losing every round. After every round, refusing to feel a sense of urgency. You're behind on the scorecard. You need to do something. I didn't see that at all from her, and I'm not gonna lie. This was the one match of the night where I was truly disappointed in the person that I wanted to win. The other matches I can make an argument for. It wasn't that they didn't try; they tried. But Alexa Grasso, I don't feel like she really tried. And don't get me wrong, I've always said, in fact, I picked Shevchenko to win their first match, and I was even doubting Alexa Grasso in their second match. But Valentina came there to win. She wanted that championship back. I honestly did not see Alexa Grasso really giving a firm try to really stay champion. And I'm not lying. She was the one person that I was disappointed in, and I was really hoping that she would pull it out. But again, after every single round, go back and watch. No sense of urgency. It didn't seem like she even wanted to win. It didn't seem like she cared. It seemed like she was there for a paycheck. For the first time, I'm extremely disappointed in Alexa Grasso. But what do you think about that, my man?
Listen, I said in our pre-fight prediction of what was going to happen, and I said, look, based on her performance in the first fight and her performance in the second fight, where she kind of faltered a little bit in the first round, and in the second round she didn't really give a convincing performance either way. I thought at the time that Valentina Shevchenko had a mental block that was blocking her from giving the judges, and by extension the fans, a convincing enough reason for her to be still in the championship picture. And I said I should hope that mental block has been cleared by the time that the third fight came around. And guess what? There was actually a bit of a reversal. It seems like Grasso and Shevchenko actually traded mental blocks. Because again, after about the second round, Grasso was the one that looked defeated. And Shevchenko was actually the one initiating. Shevchenko was actually the one initiating the ground game the most. Even though Grasso seemed to be the one that was doing more damage on her, the fact of the matter is Shevchenko was actually offering more offense than Grasso was. Not just on on the feet, but also on the ground as well. And keep in mind, Shevchenko, there was a couple times where Grasso was actually getting some of the advantage in some of the holds. Again, she tried to implement a gogoplata and a armbar twice. Granted, she didn't clinch all of those because Shevchenko was able to get a good enough escape to get out of those holds. I think it might have been like friction or sweat. I think it was just Shevchenko did an unorthodox approach to a grappler in which Shevchenko was basically gassing her out so that in any sort of grip, any sort of momentum to try and get the holds, Grasso was just too gassed out by the third round. And at that time, any sort of hold, whether she wanted to initiate any sort of transition or any sort of lock or hold, she was just too gassed out to secure them. In fact, I think it was in the fourth round where she actually did try to apply like a pretty good hold on a. I think it was the gogoplata where she tried to point, but she wasn't able to get a good grasp because she had way too little energy. There was not enough torque, there was not enough anything to secure the hold, and Shevchenko was actually able to escape that grab just from that alone. Just the fact that she had no momentum and no energy going in, and that's what secured Shevchenko the win, was just the amount of ground time that she had Grasso down for, and the fact that Grasso, again, like you said, basically was trained to fight on the back foot, but not from an offensive front, which I think that's what killed her championship chances.
Yeah, listen, I'll be honest with you. I'm not gonna say that I'm super impressed with Valentina either. Don't get me wrong. Yes, she won. I'm not disputing that in any way, shape, or form. But she basically won with control time. And I actually told this to my man, not just during this fight, but during the Merab and Sugar Sean fight. Do you want to look good or do you want to win? Is essentially the thought that I feel like Valentina had, because whenever she was in top control, which was a good amount of the time, she wasn't doing a whole lot. Yes, there was some moments where she was trying to go for a hold here and there, but it didn't seem like there wasn't no sense of urgency on her to finish. She just wanted to win. And I'll be honest with you, I like Valentina. Again, I had actually picked her over Grasso in their first fight. I don't feel like that really speaks to the caliber of the champion that she is. I feel like normally she is very aggressive. I feel like given that it had been two previous decisions not in her favor, she just wanted to shut this one down and just leave without any questions, which, again, that's fine. Again, the question is, do you want to look good or do you want to go home? She wanted to go home. She wanted to go home as champion. But I kind of expected a lot more. Alexa Grasso was doing anything that seemed impressive in any way. When they were on the feet, Shevchenko was beating her to the punch every single time, landing very good blows. When they were on the ground, Valentina was the more aggressive one. It just seems like Alexa Grasso was there to defend the whole night, and it just did not go her way. So I'm extremely disappointed in Grasso. I'm not impressed with the type of victory that Valentina got, but hey, listen, she got the win. Can't be mad at that. So let's go ahead and talk about the final fight, Sugar Sean versus Merab. And listen, if you guys go back and watch our video, our pre-prediction to the fight, Merab did exactly what I said he should do, and I called this one exactly perfect. He needed to wrestle Sugar Sean into oblivion. Listen, I told my man this before the fight, that I felt that when Sugar Sean went to go face Aljo, that Aljo should have wrestled him into oblivion. Why would you want to fight in any moment in time a stand-up game against a guy who's known for having power in his hands like Sugar Sean? What you want to do is you want to not give him that chance. You want to wrestle him into oblivion, which is exactly what I said before the fight for Merab Dvalishvili, and that's exactly what he did. Don't give this man any chance at all to stand up on his feet, and he did. He did that for the most part. I feel like Merab really obviously controlled the fight, almost the entirety of it, with the exception of the last maybe minute of round 5, where Sean was landing some good kicks to the body. But listen, same concept here. I feel like after, I'm gonna say, the second, maybe third round, during the break, Sean looked defeated. I think at a certain point, Sean knew he's beating me. He's beating me, and he was. Merab was again controlling him. He was doing a lot of damage on the ground, quite well actually. He landed more of his takedowns the first 3 rounds than he did in the later half of the fight. But he landed enough to definitely earn him that W. I feel like Merab did exactly what he wanted to do going in. And I feel like this very severely derails the Sugar Sean hype train. I personally have, you guys have seen, go back and watch any of our videos where we talk about Sugar Sean. I've never been on the train. The reason I've never been on the train is for this exact reason, where I felt like the second he faced a high-level wrestler, he was going to have issues. And again, I first thought maybe that was going to be Aljo. Unfortunately, Aljo got knocked down in no time flat. But I was really hoping. I'd seen Merab take a good amount of damage and stay standing. So I was hoping he was going to be the one, and he proved to be the one. He took a good amount of damage to the face in the beginning, but he weathered the storm. Got the takedowns, and really just smothered Sugar Sean into a defeat. What do you think about that, my man?
Listen, man, Sean O'Malley should have had every single advantage in this fight. He was taller, which means he was lankier. He should have had a longer reach. In fact, there was a couple times, but only in the last round, where his lankiness actually helped prove successful with, I think it was 3 kicks to the body, and Merab started to look a little hurt. Like, he was starting to start gripping his ribs, so it looked like he was starting to be in a little bit of danger. But again, Merab rode on his bike, and there's no shame. Even DC was like, get on your bike, don't let him take that round. So you can't be mad when somebody else is like, don't start confronting him. You only have 20 seconds left. You can secure this victory. Don't do anything stupid. So I can't be mad about that. I understand the fans are gonna be mad about that, but the like what you said earlier, do you want to look good, or do you want to go home? It's the principle of, you're not there to impress the fans. You're there to impress the judges. They're the ones handing you the belt. The fans don't do anything for you. Now, look, if you look good doing it, by all means. In fact, he was actually trying to do that when he was giving them sweet nothings to him when he was on the clinch, and Herb Dean told him, like, hey, oh, no kissing, man, no kissing. That we don't do that here. But the fact that, and even then, perfect example, Sean had the perfect opportunity there, because it was a legal strike, and even Herb told him you were unprotected for a second. That's your fault. And even Merab was like, all right, that's my bad. I should have counted that. Sean had the perfect opportunity in that 5-second stretch to land something important on there, and he unfortunately wasn't able to follow through on that. So again, Sean had every single opportunity and advantage that was possible to him, but Merab proved to be the aggressor during that fight. He proved to be more dominant. There was even a couple times in the first 3 rounds where Sean was trying to throw them long kicks, and Merab was able to catch some of those and actually land single leg and even double leg takedowns, which looked beautiful. Again, you're there to impress the judges. You're not there to impress the fans. And even if you were going into it from a Sugar Sean fan perspective, and even I putting my bias out here, not a fan of the Sugar Show whatsoever. I still, however, would have given him the first round, but 2, 3, and 4 were definitely all Merab rounds, and by the 5th, even if Sean looked dominant in the 5th round, the only thing that would have secured the belt for him was a definite knockout. And unfortunately, Merab, credit to where he is, got on his bike. He knew, this fight's mine. I don't need to do anymore.
Yeah, man, listen, I'll be honest with you. I did think Sean was going to put up more of a fight than he did. Again, same concept. You know, he looked defeated after, I'm going to say round 2. He looked like he was just, he knew he was not implementing his plan, and he knew that Merab was implementing his plan. So it's one of those things where it just seemed like after a certain point, he just knew, like, this is it, man. If you watch the break between the 4th and 5th round, there was a point where Sean was looking down at the canvas. He looked defeated. Like, he just looked like, fuck, I'm unless I do something, I'm out. And I feel like for the first little bit in the 5th round, he did try. He went in there, he tried throwing a little bit more strikes, but after he got taken down, that was it. I feel like he really picked up on the kicks later in the 5th round that were landing, and he did start throwing them more frequently. But by then, there was literally less than a minute left, and I feel like at that point, you know, like you said, Merab got on his bike, and that was the end of it. Listen, this brings up a question specifically to Sugar Sean, who has stated for the longest time one particular thing. My question to you, Sugar Sean, are you still undefeated? Because you can make all the excuses in the world for the Cheeto fight, but this one, what is it to say? And yes, I know he said he's already tweeted, I overpromised and underperformed. My apologies. Just acknowledge it now, big dog. And here's the thing. All this, I'm bigger than McGregor. I'm, pretty close to being bigger than him, blah, blah, blah. This is why I don't like when young fighters, the Sugar Seans, the Ilia Toporias, so on and so forth, when they make all of these gigantic, boisterous claims before they've been truly, truly tested. It bothers me because when you really get tested by somebody, as Sugar Sean did last night, it'll really prove who you are. And Sugar Sean just didn't stand up to the test. He floundered, and not only did he flounder, he knew he floundered. Go back, watch that between 4th and 5th round, that break. Tell me that man doesn't look defeated. Tell me that man didn't know, this is it for me. I'm done. In fact, go to when they're about to call the winner. Before they even mention Merab's name, you can see Sugar Sean put his hands signaling Merab won. He knew. So let's be realistic. Again, I have no problem with people being fans of fighters. I'm a fan of certain fighters. There's no problem with all that. But you have to be realistic. Has your favorite fighter been tested? If he has, then you can bolster. If he hasn't, no point. No point. And with that, make sure to like, comment, hate, subscribe, DM us about the bullshit, and
Until next time, get rest and stay blessed. We'll see you on the next one.